I found out my fiancée slept with 3 strangers at her bachelorette party, but she pretended I never knew until everything came crashing down and she begged for a second chance. I was 30 when everything came crashing down. Mia and I had been together since we were 24. We met at a friend's birthday party, one of those rooftop get-togethers where you don't expect much but end up leaving with something life-changing. I remember spotting her across the room, laughing at something someone said and thinking she was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. Not just looks, she had this magnetic energy, the kind that made people naturally gather around her. She was alive in a way that made you want to get close, even if you weren't sure why. By the end of the night, we were on the patio talking about music, movies, travel, and all the dreams we still thought were realistic. We started dating a few weeks later. A year after that, we moved in together. Things felt right, or at least I thought they did. Sure, Mia liked to go out more than I did. She thrived on nights out, loud bars, spontaneous trips, whereas I was more of a let's make dinner and watch a movie guy. But I figured we balanced each other. I grounded her. She brought the fun. Opposites attract, right? When I proposed, it was because I was sure. I looked at her and saw forever. She cried when I asked and said yes before I finished the question. We spent months planning the wedding. Venue tours, cake tastings, arguments over open bar versus cash bar. It felt like we were building something real. I thought we were. The beginning of the end came in the form of a small gift bag. I wasn't supposed to be home when it arrived. My shift at work ended early that day, and I figured I'd surprise Mia by cooking dinner. When I got to the apartment, I noticed the bag sitting right outside our door. It was sparkly glittery with a tag that read, "To the wildest bride-to-be. You deserved every second of it. Love, Tasha." At first, I didn't think much of it. Tasha was Mia's best friend, loud, chaotic, and the self-declared life of every party. She and Mia had been joined at the hip since college. I always thought she was a bit much, but Mia adored her, so I tolerated her. Still, something about that note sat wrong with me. I brought the bag inside and set it on the counter, just stood there staring at it, trying to shrug off the strange feeling crawling up my spine. It's probably nothing I told myself, just party stuff. But my gut wouldn't let it go. I opened it. Plastic tiara, bride's last ride sash, glitter confetti that immediately made a mess, the usual bachelorette party junk. But at the bottom, there was something else. A pair of men's boxers, not new, not even clean, just there. My stomach dropped. My brain tried to rationalize. Maybe it's a gag gift, maybe it's part of some embarrassing joke. Then I saw the flash drive. Even then, I hesitated, but everything already felt wrong, like the air was too heavy. I plugged it into my laptop. Just one file. The video started with Mia and her friends at some club, laughing, drinking, cheering. She looked amazing wearing the tiara and sash, completely in her element. At first, it was just party footage. No big deal. Then it cut to a strip club. Mia was on stage grinding on a male stripper, while her friends screamed encouragement. I sat back in my chair, heart pounding. Okay, not ideal, but still bachelorette party right. Then she pulled the stripper off stage, giggling, leading him toward a back room. I paused the video. Maybe it was just a joke. Maybe she went back there, laughed, came right out. But I knew. Deep down, I already knew. I pressed play. Next scene, Mia in a lounge area with 3 guys, flirting, laughing, drinking. One kissed her, and she kissed him back. Then another guy joined in. By the end of the video, she was leading all 3 into a hotel room. Tasha's voice was in the background the entire time, laughing, narrating like some reality show host. Mia, you're a legend. Bride of the freaking year. I stared at the screen like my brain couldn't catch up to what my eyes just saw. This wasn't a one-time kiss. This wasn't drunk dancing. This was betrayal. Plain and brutal. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there. The weight of 6 years pressing down like concrete. That night, Mia came home like nothing happened. She kissed me on the cheek, asked about my day, and started gushing about new centerpiece ideas Tasha had come up with. I smiled. I nodded. But inside, I was already gone. I didn't say a word, just watched her. Her face, her hands, her voice. Everything I thought I loved now felt like a mask. That night, I didn't sleep. I laid there staring at the ceiling, the video playing on loop in my head. Every laugh, every touch, every look that should have been mine. The next morning, she kissed my forehead on her way out to work. "I can't wait to see you tonight, babe." I smiled and said, "Me too." The second the door closed, I got out of bed and started packing. No hesitation. No second guessing. I wasn't even thinking about what I was doing. My body just moved. Duffel bag, clothes, toiletries, laptop, chargers, the basics. I didn't care about the couch or the TV or any of the shared stuff. She could keep it all. Let her build her perfect little Pinterest life with her perfect little lies. I was out. I searched for a place to go. A resort 2 hours away popped up in my feed. Nothing fancy, just quiet with a lake view. Perfect. I booked a week paid in full. Omsai. Didn't care about the cost. Peace of mind was worth every dollar. Before I left, I grabbed the folder with all our wedding contracts. I called the venue as I walked out of the apartment. "Hi, this is Ryan. I need to cancel our reservation." The woman on the other end sounded surprised. "Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. May I ask why I didn't owe her the story?" Change of plans. Life happens. She explained the cancellation policy, the non-refundable deposit. I told her that was fine. Just cancel it. Then I drove. No destination in mind except away. I didn't even glance in the rearview mirror as I left the apartment behind. Halfway to the resort, I stopped at a gas station, grabbed some snacks and water. That's when the calls started. Mia, text after text, call after call. She must have come home and seen the empty closet. I didn't answer. Her messages started innocent. "Hey babe, where are you? Did you go somewhere without telling me?" Then they got frantic. "Ryan, this isn't funny. Where are you? Are you okay?" And finally desperate. "Please call me. I don't understand what's happening. Please." I silenced my phone, put it face down on the passenger seat. By the time I arrived at the resort, my hands were shaking. The room was simple: a big bed, a little kitchenette, a fireplace, and a balcony that overlooked a lake. It felt like another world, a quiet one where Mia didn't exist. I dropped my bags and sat on the edge of the bed, just breathing. For the first time that day, I allowed myself to feel it. Not just betrayal, but grief. This wasn't just a breakup. It wasn't a fight. I had just walked away from my future, from the woman I thought I'd grow old with, from a life I had spent years building, and she threw it away. For a wild night she probably thought I'd never find out about. She made her choices. Now I was making mine. That first night at the resort felt strange. I sat there on the bed, staring out at the lake, trying to make sense of what had just happened. It still didn't feel real. Like I was watching someone else's life fall apart, not mine. The silence was deafening. For years, I'd gone to sleep next to the sound of Mia breathing her occasional sleep talk, the quiet shuffle of her getting up early on weekends to make coffee. Now all I had was the rustle of leaves outside the cabin window and the low hum of the mini fridge. And my thoughts. They were loud. I kept going back to that video. The way she smiled, the way she laughed, the way she kissed those men like I didn't exist. It wasn't just physical, it was casual, effortless, like this wasn't new, like this was a version of Mia I'd never been allowed to meet. My phone stayed silent by choice. It was still buzzing, constantly, but I'd turned off notifications. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to read the excuses, the fake apologies, the frantic backpedaling. Not yet. When I finally checked it, there were 23 missed calls and nearly 40 texts. They followed a pattern I'd seen before. "Hey babe, just let me know you're okay." "I'm freaking out." "Where are you? Why did you take your stuff? Please." "Whatever this is, let's talk about it. I love you. Please don't do this." I didn't answer. Instead, I called the only people I knew wouldn't demand an explanation: my parents. They're not the emotional type. They're calm, quiet, and firm, the kind of people who've been through enough life to not overreact. When I told them I left Mia and that the wedding was off, my mom simply said, "Okay, honey. Do you want to talk about it? I just found out she wasn't who I thought she was," I said. There was a pause. Then my dad, "Good. Better now than later." They didn't press me. They didn't offer advice unless I asked. They just said they supported me no matter what. It was the first time I felt steady all day. Still, one thing gnawed at me. Tasha. She wasn't just a background character in this mess. She was the narrator, the hype woman, the one behind the camera shouting encouragement while Mia destroyed our relationship. That damn note on the gift bag kept playing in my mind. You deserved every second of it. It was more than a joke. It was a declaration, a smug little ribbon tied to the bomb she helped detonate. I'd tolerated Tasha for years. Mia swore she was just wild, that she meant well. I disagreed. Tasha had always rubbed me the wrong way. She lived for drama. She pushed Mia to go out when we had plans. More than once, Mia had stumbled home at 2 a.m., drunk, giggling with Tasha in the background, yelling, "Sorry, Ryan, I stole your girl. I used to laugh. Now I felt like a clown." The more I thought about it, the more I realized Tasha hadn't just enabled Mia, she orchestrated the whole night. She was proud of it. I needed to hear it from her mouth. So I made a plan. I wasn't going to call her. I didn't want to give her a chance to prepare a fake apology or twist the story. I downloaded a burner number app and sent her a text. "It's Ryan. We need to talk about Mia. Meet me at the coffee shop on 7th tomorrow at noon." 5 minutes later, she responded, "WTF? Are you okay? Is Mia okay? What's this about?" I didn't reply. I spent the night thinking about how I was going to face her, what I'd say, whether it would even make a difference. But I knew one thing, I wasn't leaving without answers. The next day, I drove back into the city. I parked 2 blocks from the coffee shop and waited. At 11:59, she walked in. Tasha was impossible to miss. Bright pink blazer, oversized sunglasses, heels too tall for the sidewalk. She looked like she was auditioning for a reality show, not meeting an ex-best friend's fiancé. I gave it a few minutes, then walked in after her. Her eyes widened when she saw me, then quickly shifted into that fake smile I'd seen 100 times. "Ryan, oh my God, you scared me with that message. What's going on?" I sat down across from her. No pleasantries. "Cut the crap, Tasha. I know about the bachelorette party." Her smile faltered. What do you mean?" I leaned forward, voice calm but sharp. "The flash drive, the videos, the bag you left at the door. I know everything." She froze. For the first time, she didn't have something to say. Then she laughed. Nervous. Weak. "Come on, Ryan. It was just bachelorette party stuff. You're not seriously upset about that, are you?" "Upset," I repeated, eyebrows raised. That's an understatement. What kind of friend encourages their best friend to cheat on their fiancé and then puts together a highlight reel like it's a wedding gift? "It wasn't like that," she said quickly. "It was just a fun night. No harm, no foul." I pulled out my phone and showed her screenshots of the messages she sent Mia afterward. "Bride of the year. You owned that stage girl. Don't feel guilty. It's your last chance to be free." Her face went pale. "Ryan, you're taking this way too seriously." "Tradition," I shot back, voice rising. "Is that what you call it? Because to me, it looks like you helped her burn our future to the ground." Tasha leaned back, arms crossed. "I didn't force her to do anything, okay? She's an adult. She made her own choices. And you cheered her on," I said, standing up. "You helped her throw it all away." She rolled her eyes. "Please. It's not like she doesn't love you. It was just a one-night thing." That did it. I slammed my hand on the table. Not loud, but firm enough to make her jump. One night, 3 guys' cameras rolling, and you calling her a legend. That's not just wild fun, Tasha. That's a betrayal. And you were a part of it. She looked around nervously, clearly aware of the stares from other customers. "Okay, fine," she muttered. "I'm sorry if it got out of hand, but this is between you and Mia. Don't drag me into it." "You dragged yourself into it," I said, turning to leave. "And believe me, everyone's gonna know exactly what kind of friend you really are." Her voice rose behind me. "What does that mean?" I didn't answer. Back at the resort, I started drafting an email. Not to Mia, not yet. To our mutual friends. The ones who thought Mia was this glowing bride-to-be. The ones who weren't there that night, but needed to know the truth. I attached screenshots. I added a few clips. I kept the message short. "This is what really happened. I trusted you with the truth. Please don't spread it unless I say so. But I won't let this be buried. I didn't send it to everyone. Just the ones I trusted to keep it quiet until I was ready to let the rest of the story out." I didn't hear from Tasha again after that meeting. She must have realized she couldn't spin it anymore. Good, she wasn't my problem anymore, but Mia still was. And next, it was time her parents found out who their perfect daughter really was. I hadn't spoken to Mia since I walked out, not directly at least. I hadn't responded to a single call, hadn't opened a single message, but I knew from the buzz of my phone that she wasn't done trying. It had slowed down, some fewer texts, more voicemails now. Desperate ones. I ignored them all, until one text came in from an unfamiliar number. "Ryan, it's Janet. Mia's a wreck. Please call me. We're worried. Janet, Mia's mom." That message sat in my inbox for a full day before I did anything, because seeing her name brought back a very specific feeling judgment. Janet and Henry, Mia's parents, had never really liked me. Not outright, but I felt it. I didn't come from money. I didn't work in a flashy field. I wasn't Ivy League or whatever box they'd hoped their daughter's future husband would check. When Mia and I moved in together, Janet reacted like we'd announced we were joining a cult. "You know, it's not really proper," she said, once twisting her mouth, like the very idea of us sharing a bathroom was an affront to the family name. Henry didn't say much, but his silence always had weight. Disapproving. Distant. Funny how once I proposed, everything changed. Suddenly, I was such a dependable young man. Janet was planning bridal showers. Henry offered to help with a down payment for a house. It was like I'd finally passed their test. So, yeah, I wasn't thrilled about going to them, but something in me wanted them to know the truth. Not just for closure, for justice. If they were going to look down on me, they deserved to know exactly who they were propping up. I didn't tell Mia I was coming. I just drove. Their house was exactly the same pristine lawn, expensive cars, the kind of place where everything had a place and nothing ever looked out of order. Janet opened the door and pulled me into a hug before I could even say anything. "Oh, Ryan," she said, voice tight. "Thank God. Mia's been out of her mind. We've been so worried." Inside, Henry was in his usual chair by the fireplace, flipping through a newspaper. He looked up when he saw me, nodded once. "Ryan, Henry," I said, sitting down on the edge of the couch. "I came to talk, and it's not going to be easy." They both sat eyes on me. "I'm not here to fix things," I continued. "I'm here to tell you why the wedding is off." Janet blinked. "Off." "But Mia didn't. She just said you two had a fight." I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. "She didn't tell you the truth," I said, "but I will." I opened the folder. Videos, screenshots, proof. I handed the phone to Janet. She stared at the screen tapped to play the first video. At first, she was confused, then horrified. She didn't even finish it. Just handed it to Henry with shaking hands and covered her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered. Henry's jaw clenched so tight I thought it might snap. His eyes never left the screen, his hand tightening around the phone with every second. "This can't be real," Janet said. "Tell me this is edited, that it's not." "It's real," I said, "and that's just the tip of it. Your daughter didn't just cheat on me, she made it into a party. And her best friend filmed it like it was entertainment." Henry stood up and began pacing the room. Janet burst into tears. "I don't even know who she is anymore," she sobbed. "She's the same person she's always been," I said. "You just never wanted to see it." Henry finally spoke, his voice low and furious. "We raised her better than this." "She wasn't thinking," Janet said between gasps. "She was drunk. Maybe she felt pressure." "She wasn't pressured," I cut in. "I know you want to believe that." But she was all in, laughing, leading it. She made every decision that night. "She betrayed me." Janet nodded silently, crying now. Henry sat back down, still gripping the phone. "So that's it. The wedding's off." "It's been off," I said. "I just thought you deserved to know why. She's your daughter. She's your problem now. I'm done." Janet looked up at me with tear-streaked cheeks. "Please don't tell anyone else. Think of the embarrassment for her, for us." I stood. "That's not my concern anymore." And I left. I don't know what happened immediately after I walked out, but I got a voicemail later that night. Janet's voice trembling. "Ryan, I don't even know what to say. Henry and I are devastated. We confronted Mia. She's completely falling apart. She said she doesn't know how to fix this, but honestly, neither do we. We're just so sorry. I didn't save the message. Let her explain herself to them. Let them sit with what they chose to ignore. I was done being the one cleaning up her messes. But the fallout, that was just beginning. Because as much as I wanted to move on quietly, there were still people in Mia's circle who had no idea what she'd done, and I wasn't going to let them keep thinking she was the victim. It didn't take long for the cracks to spread. After I dropped the truth on Mia's parents, I thought I could disappear back into peace. But truth doesn't stay confined. It ripples, and once it started, it didn't stop. I didn't go nuclear, not at first. I sent the proof screenshots, snippets from the video to a few mutual friends, people I trusted. I didn't ask them to spread it. I just asked them to know, quietly, honestly. But Rachel was the one who kicked the first domino. Rachel had always been in Mia's inner circle. Not quite as wild as Tasha, but not exactly innocent either. She was there that night, laughing on the video, egging Mia on. Still, I always got the sense that she had a conscience. And guilt, it turns out, is a powerful motivator. I sent Rachel a short text. I know what happened at the bachelorette party. I've seen everything. Don't play dumb. We need to talk. She called me within minutes. Her voice was shaky, panicked. Ryan, what the hell? Where did you get all that? Does it matter? I said flat. You were there. You saw it all. And you did nothing. I didn't know it was that bad, she said quickly. I thought it was just drinking and dancing. You didn't know she disappeared with 3 guys. I snapped. You didn't know she cheated on me in front of all of you. There was silence. I'm sorry, she said eventually. I should have said something. I should have stopped her. But you didn't. No, she whispered. I didn't. By the end of that call, she was in tears too, apologizing, begging for understanding, saying she didn't want to be part of the fallout. I told her that wasn't my problem. She made her choice just like Mia did. I thought that would be the end of it. Then came the message from Chloe. Chloe was always polite, always neutral, not super close to either of us, but part of the friend group. She messaged me that night. Hey, Ryan, I just wanted to say, I'm really sorry for what you're going through. I had no idea. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. That's when I knew the story was spreading. Mia wasn't the golden bride anymore. The narrative was shifting. Friends were picking sides or backing away entirely. Then Tasha snapped. I hadn't heard from her since our coffee shop confrontation, but she texted me out of nowhere, Ryan. What the hell are you telling people? Mia is a mess. Everyone's acting weird with me now. You need to stop this. I didn't respond. Let her squirm. Because what she didn't understand was that I wasn't out for blood. I wasn't trying to ruin lives. I was just done protecting people who thought they could do whatever they wanted without consequence. And for once, consequences were catching up. Hard. Rachel started telling people the truth, maybe to clear her own name, maybe to escape the blast zone. Either way, she admitted to being there, confirmed what I'd shown her, said she regretted not stopping it. That was all it took. The group chat fell apart. People who once praised Mia were now silent. Some unfollowed her. Others sent her messages of disbelief. A few cut her off entirely. Tasha, of course, wasn't having it. That's when the final fracture happened. She and Mia had a blow-up. It started with Mia blaming Tasha, saying she pushed her into everything, that it was her idea, that she filmed it, that she left the box at the apartment like some sick trophy. And Tasha, she didn't hold back. Don't act like I made you do anything, she apparently screamed. You were all in. You wanted it. You were proud of it. So stop playing the victim. Chloe heard about the fight and told me. They're not speaking anymore. Tasha's telling everyone that Mia used her as a scapegoat. It's a mess, and it only got worse. Mia tried reaching out again. Her texts weren't angry now. They weren't defensive. They were pitiful. Ryan, please. I'm sorry. Everyone's turning on me. I lost my job, my friends. My parents barely speak to me. Please just talk to me. I don't know what to do. That's when I found out just how far things had fallen. After my conversation with her parents, Mia went back home hoping to explain to smooth things over, but Janet and Henry weren't having it. They'd always been obsessed with image, with respectability. When the truth of what she'd done came out, their reaction was brutal. They kicked her out. Not in theory, in practice. They packed up her things, left them on the front porch, and told her not to come back until she could take responsibility for what she did. Tasha refused to let her crash at her place. Rachel ignored her calls. Everyone else silent. Eventually, Mia ended up renting a tiny room in a sketchy part of town using what little savings she had left after I canceled the wedding. And her job gone. She'd been coasting for years at a marketing firm her dad had helped her get into. But once the rumors reached the office, once she started missing work, losing focus, spiraling, they cut her loose. Quietly. Under the guise of downsizing. I didn't gloat. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel justified. For years, she relied on people to clean up her messes. She lied, she coasted, she partied and blamed others for the fallout. But now there was no one left to bail her out. By the time the fallout had fully landed, I was already back at the resort sipping coffee on the deck and watching fog roll off the lake like a curtain closing on a play I was never meant to be in. Mia was spiraling. Everyone who used to stand beside her, her friends, her family, even Tasha, was gone. And all that was left was silence. She kept texting, each message more desperate than the last. I lost my job. I'm staying in a tiny room I can barely afford. Please, Ryan, just talk to me. I know I ruined everything, but I don't know how to fix it. She was unraveling and she wanted anyone to throw her a rope, but I wasn't that person anymore. I wasn't her comfort. I wasn't her safety net. She made sure of that. One day, Eric, one of our mutual friends who'd always stayed neutral, called me. We hadn't talked much since everything blew up, but he sounded concerned. "Mia called me," he said, crying, asking if she could crash with me for a few days. I waited. I told her no, he continued. I said, "This isn't my problem." She started sobbing, said she had no one left. I nodded, though he couldn't see me. "Thanks for telling me. She's in a bad way, man," Eric said. "Really bad." I thanked him again and hung up, but I didn't feel pity. Not really. I felt something else, clarity. Mia had always floated through life powered by charm, privilege, and the assumption that someone would clean up her mistakes. But now she was standing in the middle of her own wreckage, and no one was coming to rescue her. She ended up taking a part-time job at a coffee shop. Chloe mentioned it to me in passing, said she looked tired, said she barely smiled anymore, said she was living off instant noodles and borrowing clothes from coworkers because she couldn't afford laundry. "She's barely hanging on," Chloe said. "I don't think she's ever hit this low." I didn't reply. I didn't need to because I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't anything. I was done. That month, I stayed off social media. No posts, no status changes, no cryptic quotes or passive-aggressive memes. I didn't want the drama. I didn't want the attention. I just wanted peace. And for the first time in years, I had it. I picked up more clients at work, started running again, took a solo road trip to Colorado just because I could. I didn't need to check in with anyone. I didn't need to explain where I was. I didn't have to compromise on where to eat or what to watch or whether I wanted to be around anyone at all. It felt clean. And yeah, I started dating again. Slowly, carefully. The first woman I went out with was kind. She asked questions. She listened. She didn't try to impress me or make herself into someone she wasn't. She just showed up as herself. And I realized how rare that had become in my life. We're still taking it slow. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm not rushing toward anything anymore. I've seen what happens when you ignore the cracks in something that's supposed to be permanent. Now I pay attention. I don't just look for beauty. I look for consistency, integrity, alignment between words and actions. That's the real kind of attractive. The kind Mia never had. Last I heard, Mia was still in that dingy apartment. Janet and Henry hadn't taken her back in. Rachel had completely cut ties. Tasha blocked her. Chloe still messaged occasionally, but even she admitted, "There's only so much I can do." And Mia, she kept trying. Every few weeks another message. "I'm sorry. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I miss you. You were the only good thing in my life, and I destroyed it." And maybe she was right. But her realization didn't change anything, because forgiveness isn't the same as reconnection. And I didn't owe her either, so I let the messages pile up, unread, unanswered, because that's what happens when you treat someone's love like a disposable thing. Eventually, they learn how to stop giving it to you. This whole experience taught me something I didn't know I needed to learn. Never confuse love with loyalty. I loved Mia. I would have done anything for her. I showed up. I stayed. I gave. But love doesn't mean sticking around after someone burns down your future and hands you the ashes. Love means choosing yourself when no one else will. Love means walking away, not because you don't care, but because they didn't. So, no, I don't hate Mia. I just finally see her clearly, and I love myself too much now to ever go back to who I was when I let her convince me I was lucky to have her. She was the lucky one, and she lost that. For good.